well, I got to shout out DoseOfDion, man, because it was actually the first time I went live on YouTube. And, you know, guys don't know DoseOfDion. He put out a lot of good content for the Detroit Lions.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another video. In today's video, we are going to be talking about the Detroit Lions defense and why the Lions defense all of a sudden seems way better. Like what's going on with this defense? We're going to be diving into some film today. And you guys know I'm excited to do this because I like diving into the film, and it's so much more fun to watch when the Lions win. Because then you're watching back, you're like, oh yeah, we won. Oh, you made a good play. Well, too bad you lost. Ha. Sorry. But it's true. It feels way more better to watch film when they win a football game. But today we're diving back into the defense. And guys, there's a lot of inspiring things going on with this defense. And now for back-to-back weeks, we've seen some really good flashes. Now, they're not perfect. They have a lot of things to work on. We're going to show the bad. And a place where I feel like there's somewhat of a weakness for the Detroit Lions and how the Falcons kind of exploited that and why, you know, they started to kind of pick up some steam. Because they start off really slow. They seem to start to pick it up a few drives here and there. But the Lions still made some key timely plays. You can still see the rotations. And I just want to go through all that in today's video, okay? So we're just going to dive right into it because we got a lot of clips to look at. I'm trying not to take too long on every clip, but this is really fun for me, and I think there's some really good stuff here. So the first three plays are just run stops, okay? We're going to look at 3 run stops to start this thing off. I do have my drawing utensil. We don't need to draw anything here, though, because this one's cut a little bit short. And we've talked about it a long time, right? We've talked about it all the time. When the Lions bring in a cornerback, they must be able to tackle, or they won't be in Detroit. I mean, it's as simple as that. You have to be able to come down and contain and make a tackle. Here you see Okudah getting involved, forcing it back out. This time he actually doesn't make the tackle, but they swarm to the football. Their run defense has been the key to everything so far. I mean, they've been able to stop the run really way better since week 3 of the NFL season. All right, it seemingly got way better, and because of that, the Lions are more competitive. They're able to get pass rush. They're able to get to the quarterback. You know, they're getting interceptions. It all starts with the run defense. And when you look at who the Lions have in their front 7, the big bodies that Matt Patricia brings in, the guys for his scheme, right? Look at the players they drafted. Jelani Tavai, right? The big Jelani Tavai. The players they bring in, Reggie Ragland, Jamie Collins, these big linebackers, and then defensive line. You draft John Pennicini. You sign Danny Shelton. You have these big guys to play the front 7. You should be able to stuff the run. Now, the problem, and you can see one of the concerns would be, okay, how about the outside contain? Because if you have a lot of these big, thick linebackers that aren't super fast, what about when teams get to the outside? That's where cornerbacks come into play, and that's why we want cornerbacks to be able to tackle. That way they can come down and make the play. And you'll see the Lions use their cornerbacks all the time. They fly over the field, and Okudah is really good at it. Amani's really good at it, and that's what I wanted to point out first, okay? Because what's been the biggest difference statistically since, you know, the bye week that made this Lions defense somewhat competitive again is the fact that they can stop the run, and we're going to show why for multiple reasons, all right? So the first one, as you guys see here, just getting out on the edge, and once Okudah kind of pushes it back, or whoever the cornerback is, it allows everybody to get back into play. But let's just point out the hustle here. Point out the hustle by Danny Shelton to be the guy out on the outside, by Nick Williams, okay? You have 2 defensive linemen over there, and you see, I think that's John Pennicini over there just like hustling over. But you can see, I mean, that's hustle. That's what you want to see. Got to keep an eye out for this play. This is my guy, Reggie Ragland. Another guy the Lions brought in this offseason. He has been really good. He's been pretty solid in coverage. The guy can tackle. He's a big man. He's a very big man. And that's what you're going to see right here. So watch this play. Reggie Ragland. It's very good contained. So Danny Shelton basically takes on 2 blockers because he has that size. So you're getting off their blocks, okay? And Jamie Collins as well. He's got the guy down to his knee. Shedding blocks. We talk about scheme. It's super important. But if the players don't make plays, it doesn't really matter. Here are the players playing up to the money, whatever draft pick they were, whatever it may be, going out there making plays. That's what you see here. Boom. So you see Reggie Ragland gets off the block, makes the big play, shuts down the run game. So while, yes, there is some scheme to this and some strategy, a lot of it also is the players making plays. Here's what I want to circle on this formation, all right? Look at the guys you got out here. Look at your front 7. Look at the names who are out here. You have Christian Jones. You have Nick Williams, John Pennicini, Danny Shelton, Reggie Ragland, Jamie Collins, Jelani Tavai. That's a big front 7. That's size. That is size. And then you can see offensively how they line up, right? Your 5 offensive linemen, 3 tight end set. So you go big, you go your big guys, they go with their big guys. Who wins, okay? That's really the big question here is who's going to win that battle. Well, these are the kind of guys that Matt Patricia brings in. This is something that I think we saw last week against Jacksonville that we pointed out is Matt Patricia was bringing the rush to stop the run game. He put an emphasis. I'll also point out Corey Ellen. I always forget Corey Ellen, but they made an emphasis to rush the play, to rush the backfield, to bring blitzes, to stop the run game, which is something that you don't always think of. But that's what the Lions are doing, and sometimes it just ends up being on pass plays. But that's what the Lions do. So here off the edge, you're going to see the Lions are going to send, I believe it's Okudah off the edge here. They have their 3 tight end set. So he's actually going to come around, use his speed, and Okudah's actually the guy that goes in here and makes plays. You have your size in the inside. All right, and look, you have your two linebackers. They're going to fill this gap, and then you have Okuda who's shooting off the edge. It's going to force him to kind of slow down. He has to try to pick his hole. He can't find it. Okuda gets there, makes tackle. That's back to the cornerbacks being able to tackle. The run defense is the key to the Lions defense being much better. It's just as simple as that. But there's more than that. There's more. There's actually better coverage from the Detroit Lions. And what the thing is with coverage is that it's going to be better when you get pressure. Everybody knows if you get pressure, it's easier to cover. But how do you get pressure? All right? Because there's some sort of madness to getting pressure. And the madness for Matt Patricia and Corey Ellen is stop the run. That way we can do some interesting looks. That way we can bring some disguised blitzes. Maybe not even blitz, maybe just bring 4, maybe just bring 3. You don't really know who's coming from play to play if you're in passing downs. Because Matt Patricia has that free range to basically say, here's what we're going to do. He can mix up a lot of different things. And here you're going to see the motion. All right, now I want to point out the motion here. All right, because that's something that was up in the game plan. You're going to see it a lot. The first read I told you guys was motion. Second read over the middle. It looked like that a lot in today's game. But here's what you see. You see Okuda stays with the motion. That's where he's looking to go. He's going to go underneath. And then he hits him with, you could call it maybe a zig route, or maybe he's just trying to get back open here. And the Lions get pressure. Now, why did the Lions get pressure here? Well, because they know they're going to pass the football, they can do things like this. Who's just too fast, and we know his physical nature. Then it's kind of like a stunt. You get another man to come around, and it's 2 free players. All of a sudden, Okuda does a really good job staying in coverage, man-to-man defense, and our man-to-man defense has really, really improved. And that's because our run defense has improved, which ultimately lets our pass defense improve because we're able to get to the quarterback. You see how it all kind of goes together? It's like a wheel, man. Side of the wheel has a hole in it. It's not going to go like this. It's just going to blip, blip. It's not going to, it's not going to turn. So you need all of it to be working together, and that's what the Lions have right now. They have it all working together. The last 2 weeks, it's working together, and that's why this defense just seems like, what the heck just happened? Because it starts with run, and if you can't do that, you can't stop anything. But since they can do that, all of a sudden they're helping the back end, which is helping the pass rush, which means the defense is better. Getting turnovers, getting placed in the backfield, and the big bodies. These guys. Danny Shelton has been an absolute beast. Again, Danny Shelton, John Pennicini. Pennicini had over 30 snaps in this game. I believe that's the most he's had on the season. But look at Danny Shelton, man. Just gets inside. Jelani Tavai does a great job filling his lane. And then look at Danny Shelton. Just shuts the block, gets back there, and they make a tackle. There's just nothing in the run game. They average 2.8 yards per carry, I think. 2.5 or 2.8. That's nothing. That's incredible. They had like 1 run over 8 yards. The Lions' run defense was really, really good, and that's where it all started here. Pay attention to the coverage in the back end. All right, so Lions go to zone here. They did a lot of zone in this game once again. This is a man that I love. I told you guys he was going to have a big game, and he did. He didn't come with an interception like that, but he had a big game. That's J-Ron Kearse, and you're going to see Jamie Collins. These two guys come out in those passing situations because they're really good in coverage. Kearse does a great job. A 6'4" man sitting over the middle makes it very difficult to see your little receiver behind him. You can't see him, and you're scared to throw it because Kearse will jump up, pick it, because he has the speed and skills of a safety. That's why he's such an X factor. But here's another X factor. All right, you have this man Reggie Ragland, and Ragland has been such a big part for this defense. The guy that basically lost his role with the Chiefs last year has been such a big part. Drops into coverage, and look at this open field tackle on the running back. Just sticks him up, and he ended up getting kind of injured, so hopefully everything's okay there. But just picks him up and just drops the play, plays over, plays dead. It's a passing down. So Matt Patricia and Corey Ellen, they're not dumb. They know how to get pressure. Now they have the ability to do that. And watch how they do this. This is really cool. Everybody always asks for cornerback blitz. We've already saw one from Okuda. How about another one here? Darryl Roberts. They put him in a slot. He's really struggled in coverage. So what are they going to do? They're going to take him to the quarterback. Lions do a great job here getting him back. And what they're going to do is they're going to drop their interior linebackers. They're going to drop these guys into coverage. And they're going to blitz off the edge. So they're only bringing, as you guys can see, 4 defenders. They're only bringing 4. It's a 4-man rush. Not even a blitz technically. But you bring the corner off the edge. It forces him to, I can't look that way. He has to go back the other way. He has to dump it underneath. And then you need the open field tackling. And that's what the Lions do. I mean, the Lions are fundamentally sound. They're pretty fundamentally sound in that aspect. They have to get better, but they're getting better. Week by week, it seems like they are improving in that aspect defensively. This dude is just something else. He's double teamed. This is a double team block. Look at him shed one. And then all of a sudden, I think that's Kearse who steps up. I don't know who stepped up there. Yeah, Kearse steps up, takes one, and all of a sudden they shut down the run. Great job by Kearse to get in that action, though. Now you're going to see again. Here we go. Check the slot. They have a man-to-man coverage. Great coverage from Okuda. And I think this time he's actually against... I don't know who he's against. I think that's against Julio. See, Okuda, I feel like man-to-man, his confidence coming around. You watch Okuda, his man-to-man confidence is really coming around. Where Okuda lacks confidence is zone defense. And if you think back to college, he didn't play much zone at Ohio State. It was a lot of man-to-man defense. When you watch him in our defense, you can see that he is coming along as a man-to-man defender. This is Calvin Ridley and Julio Jones. And you can see he's respecting them a lot. but he's gotten way, way better. Where he still lacks is, I think, confidence in zone. He'll play too deep. He'll give too much cushion, and you'll see, I think that's where they start to pick him apart a little bit later in this game. But his man-to-man confidence is there, and that's what's great about this. Here we go again. They're actually going to tackle Okudah on this one. Sorry for the fuzziness on that last play. They're going to tackle Okudah. They're just going to do a quick little drag, and Okudah's got to make his way all the way over here. But again, since it's a passing down, the Lions can get pressure inside. They bring Jared Davis, who just completely overpowers that blocker. Okudah has time to get down because he has to keep backing up in the pocket. Okudah's there, knocks it out, incomplete. And I just love this. No showboat or nothing. Just leaves the field, gets a little high five, and boom, we're off the field. I'm good. So here's the screen. They hit us with a perfect time screen. The Lions show a lot of linebackers inside, so they do a great job. They hit us with the screen play here, and this kind of opened up the offense a little bit. They hit us with the screen here. It's a really good time play. I mean, I got to just give them credit for a good time play. That's really all I can say about that one. It's just really, really good time. They got a fast receiver out there with the football. But guess what? The Lions shut it down. And J-Ron Curse, guys, I told you Curse would have a big game. He didn't come up with a sack, but if you watch, Curse was that dude. He made a couple mistakes, but he was still balling. J-Ron Curse there shutting down the run, and that's what I love about him, is that Curse can shut down the run. And that's what makes him so awesome as a defender, is that he is not a liability to stop the run. We talk about it all the time, but it's what makes him so good. Motion. What do we say? Motion is the first read in his progressions most of the time. Well, they go with the motion here, and no one follows him. This was some kind of miscommunication. And the reason I say that is because everybody drops in the zone, no one follows, so it tells you it's zone defense. Pretty much for the most part, if no one follows, it tells you it's zone. But Okudah looks like he's playing man. I'm not sure what went wrong here, but for some reason it seems like Okudah's playing man-to-man defense. Okudah's the only dude playing man defense. Everybody else is in zone, and it just leaves this huge area of just no one around him. Just no one around him. So I think there was some kind of miscommunication that went on there in a lot of first. That's a young player. You know, it's young player miscommunication that happens. And those are just mental things. Those aren't, hey, you can't play. It's just, oh, mentally you messed up there. Here's, again, it's a little fuzzy. I apologize. This is one of those plays where I feel like he just needs more confidence. And it really comes with reps. Playing more zone will build his confidence. I think that's probably why we started with so much man early in the year as well. And we went to more zone as he's building confidence. So all these young guys are. But as you can see, as the system continues to implement, they go to more zone. Well, Okudah's got the drop. And then you have this, I believe it's the linebacker. So they're kind of giving you this in-between area. But Okudah stays so far back that he has no chance to get back down into play by the time this pass is thrown. He needs to be closer. He needs to be right here, okay? He needs to be right there because you have your other guy taking away this route. He needs to be closer, and that way he can jump down and actually make a play. There's no chance for him to make a play if that's a good throw. So that's one of the things that I think he's still learning his zone defense. I really think that's his place he's learning. And again, he's been thrown into fire. Trufant hasn't been here. Coleman hasn't been here. So you're asking him to be that guy for you. And he's struggling. Here's another angle of the same play. Again, Curse almost tips this. I mean, he almost gets it. But Okudah probably needs to be down a little bit further, or Curse needs to back up further. But if he backs up, they're just going to go underneath. So, you know, I think he just needs to be a little bit tighter. You know, he doesn't mean right on. It's not man-to-man defense. Just be a little tighter, man. Have more confidence in your abilities because he has it. I just think sometimes he doesn't trust himself enough to go make the play. And I think that's what we see from him a few times. What Okudah can do. I mean, are the little things that don't show up because it's not coverage, but it's what he does in the run game that's so important. Again, setting the edge, holding it to a 2-yard gain. There's just nothing there. They can't even get to the outside. So if you have slow linebackers, you need your cornerbacks to set the edge, and they do it. So there's really not a lot there. If your cornerbacks can set the edge, there's not a lot there with our size. Here we go. We get a one-on-one. This is called pass interference. This, again, Okudah maybe doing a little bit too much, being too aggressive, because he has good position. This is really good positioning. He's backing him out of the play. He's got him out of bounds. I don't know if this is called. He didn't necessarily have to throw a flag here, I don't think. But it's like he didn't even know. Neither of them knew what happened because he was in great position. He just needs to, let go of him. And again, he's a young player. He's still learning some things, but you can see he's improving. I mean, he's got him boxed up. As long as he just gets his head around and doesn't touch him, this is incomplete. It's great coverage. But right at the end here, he just gets a little bit of a push, and all of a sudden, he gets called for the flag. So that's just what you see here. You see they bring Okudah up the edge. It's, again, run defense, just shutting it down. And again, that's been the difference, is that the Lions can stop the run. And plays where, okay, yeah, the Lions, they bring the rush. Matt Patricia brings 5. He tries to get pressure. They're not able to get there. They bring Walker. He gets a little bit of a push. This is just a great catch. I mean, it's good coverage. It's a good throw. He throws it to his back shoulder. Matt Ryan is a veteran quarterback. He will make plays. And it's just a heck of a catch. I mean, it really is. It was pretty solid defense for the most part. And that's why I felt like when even they were moving the ball, the Lions can get off the field. They're just not finishing. Talk about not finishing. Danny Shelton goes by 2 guys. Tell me his pass rush ain't improving. That's not what he's supposed to do. Now, this is one of the biggest concerns with what we do defensively. Their defensive line. When we put Shelton and Pennicini both on the line and you have Nick Williams, either you bring 3 or 4 rushers. If you're bringing just those base guys and you're not bringing extra linebackers on early downs, all of a sudden, if you're passing on early downs, you're not going to get much of a pass rush. So that's those situations where you really need your secondary to stand tall. But here we go. Danny Shelton improving in that area, getting a lot of rush. He just needs to bring him down. I mean, it's just that simple. You got to bring this dude down. He ain't mobile. You got to sack him. But they don't. They miss a blatant block in the back call, which ends up being a first down. This is block in the back. All right, the first one's a block in the back. Then guess what? Oh, that's not enough. Get up, hit him in the back again. That's a back in the back if I've ever seen one. They don't call it. Ryan steps up. Again, maybe another missed opportunity there. It's not bad defense. They held up long enough. They get to the pressure. They just didn't bring him down. And a missed block in the back call. But overall, this defense just seems to be tightening things up. I don't really see well, but actually he's here. The tight end's here. This is Collins. And the tight end just kind of continues to slide over. He just slides a little bit beside him because he's watching the quarterback's eyes. And he just gets a little open there. That's one where, okay, you're hoping you get more pressure from your front four. You're not able to. Like an interesting route concept that they did. And Ragland wasn't in bad position, but what happened is, okay, watch these two receivers. So they're going to send these two receivers right next to each other. And as you can see, once this receiver comes through and the tight end goes to the corner, it messes up Ragland. So he actually runs into the receiver, kind of throws him off his coverage, and all of a sudden it's a nice pass. It's just a really good route concept there. And that's just good. It's just good football by the offense. It's not bad coverage, it was just good football. But then you get him in that position, you're trying to get off the field here. And this is one that I've had people ask me about, this Deron Harmon situation. I didn't understand what happened at the time, but now I'm looking back, I see what went wrong here. All right, so you're bringing the motion over. Again, I always tell y'all to look for motion. So they got three receivers. As you can see, they are manned up right now. And Harmon is following. So everybody should be on their man, right? And the miscommunication here is the problem if you're deciding whether or not you're going to switch. This needs to be decided before the play. The problem is this motion throws the defense completely off. Because as you can see, Harmon follows. Harmon follows if it's man. So boom, Harmon's thinking, okay, this is my guy, this is his guy, this is his guy. But instead, you have Amani here who looks at this and says, okay, switch. I'm going to switch here. And since he does that, Harmon doesn't realize it. He doesn't switch. So you have two guys covering the same guy. Boom. Amani switches. Harmon stays. No one takes this guy. It's, again, another good route concept to confuse the defense, but it's really just communication issues here. I mean, that's what we're seeing. Just a couple of communications, just things they have to clean up. As the season goes on, we're seeing less and less of it, but it's just little things. You have a guy like Harmon working with Amani. A young guy, veteran, new player here versus a guy that's Amani, okay? That's just what happened. Here's another angle of it. You can see he follows him over. He thinks his man, he's going to stay. Amani decides to switch, and, it just, unfortunately, he gets open. It's just really unfortunate there. The hit, again, Jeffrey Okudah doing what Jeffrey Okudah does in the run game, getting involved, and then to set the edge, and then Cruz comes in, makes the tackle. As in the coverage, they bring three. This is another one of the situations where I'm saying, hey, look, if they pass on early downs, this is where your problem could lie. But it actually could technically be a good thing, because if you think about it, even if you have pass rushers here, I mean, everybody's at least doubled or triple teamed. They're probably not going to get pressure anyways, but the Lions drop 8. It's not bad coverage. He dropped that pass. Maybe he gets about 5 yards if he catches that. So Tavai needs to probably be a little bit more aware here. I know what Tavai's doing. Sometimes Tavai gets lost because what will happen is Tavai sits very shallow. They play Tavai shallow. And the reason they do that is because they have him watching tight ends. Well, when the tight ends don't leave, he's just sitting there in no man's land because he's not facing a mobile quarterback who's going to take off. So now he's in no man's land. He needs to realize that and get over there quicker. And I think that comes with time for Tavai as well, because he's stepping into a big role this year. They're asking a lot of him now as he continues, into his second year. Here's a sack from the Lions. This is good coverage downfield. Everywhere across the board, good coverage. I mean, the Lions man-to-man defense, if you were trying to tell me this hasn't improved, then I don't know what you're talking about. I mean, look at this coverage. Across the board, really good coverage, and they get a sack. The Lions, they're getting better. I mean, sometimes players have to make plays, and they're getting better. That's what you see here. Okay, now here's been kind of the problem. Here's where the problem started to lie, is the Lions would drop into some zone. And again, this is what I'm saying, is that since the tight end would stay, it occupies Tavai. So he doesn't drop back like maybe he should. So since he doesn't drop back and he sits and watches, all of a sudden you have this whole hole in the zone. And when you have receivers like Julio and Ridley, they're going to see that. And that's kind of what they started to do, is they would sit the tight end. It would take away Tavai from linebacker position. And he wouldn't recognize it, and he wouldn't leave and go back. So all of a sudden, the hole is right in the middle. And I think that's why the zone was killing us. Because from our point of view, it's like, what the heck's going on with this zone? That's what was happening. This is a play that, unfortunately, it's cut short. But right now, I want to cut this one. This is just knowing down the distance. This is where Okudah just has to be better. It's a 3rd and 2. Okudah follows motion. He needs to get up there tighter, though. He has to be tighter to the line of scrimmage as he follows him across. Because if you're giving him 5 yards by the time he throws it, there's just no chance for you to get there. No corner's going to get there with that. That's where Okudah just needs to know the situation. He needs to trust himself to go up and press. That's what he needs to do. But again, this is what he gives you. Trying to set the edge, 2 yards. That's it. He just shuts those plays down. That's what he gives you. It's just a couple of things that I think he's just still learning. He's getting better. He's just still learning. This is awesome. This is Matt Patricia and Corey Allen just being awesome here. So they drop Trey Flowers. This is a 4th down. They drop into coverage, and they actually bring here. As you can see, they bring 3 set up. So it looks like it's actually a really good decision for what they do, but it confuses them. See, they bring the rush from that side, but instead this guy shows, right? He shows and he drops, and then Trey Flowers doesn't come either, so he drops. So all of a sudden, Ryan's kind of confused who's out there, and he just flicks it. The pressure's in his face, so it forces an underthrow, and all of a sudden, it's tipped in the air by Trey Flowers. That's just being able to draw up stuff. They're smart coaches. And again, there's Tracy Walker. They're smart coaches if they can get him into passing downs. If they know a pass is coming, they're going to mix up some stuff that's going to confuse your offense. Here you go. You see a 5-man rush. Jamie Collins inside, you get the strip sack, you get him another passing down, Trey Flowers, or whoever made that play, Flowers landed on it. I mean, that's just making a play. And then at the end of the game, on the Lions' last drive, what killed them? I think a reason the Lions started to go to zone, to me personally, was because they were trying to hide Darryl Roberts. Darryl Roberts was getting killed man-to-man. Everybody else was doing good. The problem was they were trying to hide Darryl Roberts. He is not our starter. This guy was brought in as basically a 5th string, and he's starting because Coleman's out. Coleman could be back next week, which could change some things. But because they have these really good receiver group, they're trying to hide Darryl Roberts. The problem is you guys don't get to see the whole thing, but he does an out route here. The problem is Darryl Roberts could not be hidden in man-to-man defense. So zone, they were hurting us because they were just sitting the tight end, and all of a sudden Tavai would be too shallow, and they would go over top. So Lions adjusted. They're like, okay, let's go back to man. The problem was Darryl Roberts could not hold his zone consistently in man. And I think 3 completions on this final drive he gave up for big gains, 3 of them. So that's something that's going to help when you get, obviously, Justin Coleman back, who could be back this weekend. That's kind of what happens when you miss. There's a difference between a guy that's getting paid $36 million and a guy like Darryl Roberts who's getting paid to be a backup. There you go. You get some good pressure. This, again, the Lions just need to bring him down. And this is just an insanely good catch. Again, it's on Darryl Roberts. To get pressure, you just got to bring him down. Darryl Roberts, again, three receptions on this final drive where they need points. You give up 3 receptions. I'm going to skip ahead here. I don't need to show you guys all this. This is going to take too long. And then, boom, another one, a corner route. Again, Darryl Roberts in coverage. He's just beat. It's just as simple as that. He's just beat 3 times and moves him down the field. So the Lions were trying their best to hide Darryl Roberts with zone, but they couldn't do it in man. And the problem with zone is that they were just attacking the middle. So I think that's something they'll probably work on with Tavai, is that, hey, okay, if the tight end stays, and, next week we're going against Philip Rivers, right? This is not a mobile quarterback. Ryan's not. We're going to have you drop. All right, you see that. If you see the tight end stay, give it like a 2-second count, or maybe like a 1-second count, or whatever, and then drop deeper, because you're playing too shallow. They're just going over top. Then they said, okay, well, we can't do that during the game, so let's go to man. Well, man was working aside from Darryl Roberts, who just could not hold his zone against Gage. When you get Justin Coleman back, this could be a different situation. The Lions are getting better defensively. The run defense starts it all. It makes the wheel go round. It makes the world go round. That's what the Lions need, and that's why their defense is improving. Let me know your thoughts, comments below. Thank you for watching, and I'm out.